So when I asked all of you, the patrons, what games to review this month, I picked up just about every one of them. So the last episode of TLDR, we covered Light Seekers. And this episode, we're going to talk about what turned out to be actually a really interesting game, Universal Fighting System. So basically, this is a game where, like Magic, you have a character, or like your Planeswalker in Magic, and it's a fight between two characters in hand-to-hand combat. So both players begin the game with their character card in play. The character card is up to you. You can build your deck based on, in this particular case, we have Rio and Chun-Li, but they have Mega Man. Just to give an idea of the licenses that they have, in the past couple of months, we've had in March of this year, we've got Mortal Kombat coming out. Then we've got Street Fighter versus Darkstalkers, both in June. And then later this month, we've got Cowboy Bebop. Capcom Platinum Series was late last year, and then Street Fighter, which I have, came out in June. But before that, you have Blood Omen, Battle for Power, World of Indians, Warriors of the Night, Rise of Masters, Darkstalkers, Mega Man, Neomax, King of Fighters, so many more licenses. This game's actually been produced since back in 2006, and there's been an absolute ton of sets. As far as I know, it's actually changed ownership over the years, and now it's run by a company called Jasco Games. There are 5 card types in this game. You have your character card, which is a card representing the combatant the player is fighting as. Then you have attacks. These are cards that have an orange border. They represent punches, kicks, weapon strikes, and other moves. So unlike Magic the Gathering, for example, you're not casting creatures. You're basically building up for a big fight. Then you have foundations. These have a gray border. They represent a character's training and background, and they are the primary resources. So they can be used to change combat, move a high hit to a low hit, all sorts of things like that. They can also be used as a secondary resource to make sure you're able to play other foundations, or to make sure your attacks pass through. Then you have assets. These have a green border, and they represent locations or objects and provide abilities more powerful than those that are on foundations. And you have actions. These are a blue border card. They represent various maneuvers and generate effects upon being played, allowing the player to use abilities that were held secret in their hand. Overall, something like this, the turbo box is only $25. Now they do sell booster boxes, which are around $100, but everything you need to get going in this game is in this sort of turbo box. So let's take a look at everything you get inside first. Now, one thing I can say for sure, Jasco Games totally gets how to market to the trading card game crowd, and they put out a pretty nice tutorial on how to play the game. So I'm not going to go through how to play the game, but I'll clip in a little bit to show you what I mean, why you might want to check out their tutorials.
Hi, my name's Lily.
And I'm Azra.
And we're here at GMI Games in Riverside, California to teach you the basics of the Universal Fighting System. You think they're ready for this?
I'm not sure. Let's go in and find out.
All right.
Here we have the Street Fighter. This is actually pretty cool. I mean, I think something like this could easily cost more than $25. It's similar to like a Magic the Gathering intro deck, but for our purposes, I can never really help but compare things to Magic, even though, this is actually very different. So what I should tell you, inside this box, you actually get 2 41 card decks, which are going to be the 40 card deck plus your character, as well as 2 random ultra rare cards from the Street Fighter collectible card game. There's 84 in total, and then you're basically ready to go to start playing the game. Now, I didn't buy any of the booster boxes, but that's how you end up refining your deck. They actually have organized play, which is really cool. And they have like big tournaments with big prizes, and you have all sorts of other interesting things going on with the game. Let's see what we got in here. Oh, inside you have these play mats. Now these play mats are helpful in terms of knowing where you play certain things. Let's see here. Well, you have a poster on the backside here, actually. It's kind of cool. And then you have your card pool on top, as well as then your staging area. Your staging area is where the cards go, the cards go after you successfully cast them. They have a unique system for basically casting cards out of your hand. You don't have like resources like mana. What you do is you flip a card off the top of your deck and discard it to see if it matches or is greater than what is required to cast your next card. But let's take a look at these, just to take a look at card quality and things like that. This is my random, I believe. This is what looks like an attack card. Yep, Fury Punch Combo Kick Attack. Cardstock's not too bad, to be honest with you. It's a little thinner than maybe what you might see with a Magic card, but sleeved up is probably okay. So here we have Ryu, and you have all the information on the card that you need to know. So you actually get, here you see your starting hand size. So different characters can actually provide different starting hand sizes. So picking your character is actually kind of complex, or it's, I guess, important, I should say. Then you have your life total. So they call it vitality, but it's essentially your life total, and you win the game when you reduce your opponent's vitality, just kind of a silly name for it, but whatever, down to 0. Up on the right, you have your block modifier, and in here you have your difficulty. Basically, every card is a difficulty value, which determines how hard it is to play. And these abilities here, your attacks get +1 speed and +1 damage if it is blocked. Your next check gets +1. So these are played kind of right side up, but then you can commit them, I believe they call it, or in Magic we would call tapping it, to activate some of their abilities. So we've reused Hadouken! And it looks like they have regular foil and non-foil versions of their cards. Yeah, here we have the foil. They have all sorts of pretty standard rules about how many copies you can have of any specific card you might want in your deck, and different characters are going to match up differently against each other. So in this case, we have Chun-Li and Ryu. And you can check out their website for the list of, just a quick glance at all the things they have. Cowboy Bebop comes out. I really wanted to wait for that. Well, Chun-Li, she's rocking that thickness. She's keeping it. Chun-Li, she's a thick girl. But you have your attacks. Oh my. That's a conveniently placed kick. At least it doesn't have like the childish art that we're starting to see stuff lead to in some of our card games. This is pretty violent stuff. So you can use it, flip, gain 1 ability. Vitality. So you have life gain in this deck. Your commit attack gets +2 speed. All these things kind of come into play. I thought that was a boob. I'm not sure what it is, but the art's pretty good. I don't know. Everyone has a different take on art specifically, but good Lord. These girls are all going to have back problems when they get older. She's off-duty officer thickness. The light's picking up a weird glare. I'm working on that. And then we have, this must be the random ultra rare. So we got Lightning Cannonball. So basically, when you want to cast something, you have your deck, right? And there's actually different formats of this game. So they have a constructed format. They actually have draft. And they have, I think, something called standard or legacy. They have different rotations, actually. So, like as with most collectible card games, there are things in and out of standard format. So right now we have basically Ruler of Time through Champion 4 promos. And so in organized play, what's kind of cool is one of the coolest prizes is when you win like their grand prize, you actually get a card, like a Chun-Li in this case, would be made in your likeness. And that's pretty cool. And there's a whole list from 2006 all the way to 2017. They have Canadian, UK championships, US nationals, and then world champions. The 2017 world champion is Tim Keefe. We have Garrett Brett the last 2 years. So this is pretty cool. This is a nice little way to play a trading card game with, for example, maybe characters that you happen to like if you're more of a casual player. If you want to build a more competitive deck, 40 card minimums are from what I understand, in the draft, but in standard, extended, and legacy, you have a minimum of 60 cards, including the character. So you have your character and 59 other cards, as well as a 4 of limit. A lot of these rules are similar if you play Magic the Gathering, a maximum of 4 copies of any given card allowed in the deck. And it's not uncommon, I guess, for decks to exceed 60 cards in competitive play, whereas Magic, you try to really stick to your 60 card deck in constructed play. But Universal Fighting System, the kind of the silliest part about it is its name. Outside of that, it's actually a really cool game. The price of the booster boxes are suboptimal, being $100 for booster boxes. Without a strong secondary market, that's going to be kind of high. But the entry level is really low, where you can get these dual decks for $25. Like I said, if you're into, whatever license you're into, Street Fighter, Cowboy Bebop, Red Horizon, Mega Man, Darkstalkers, things like this. They also have special tins and stuff like that. And when sets get older, they often go on sale too. So you can get a better deal on the booster box. I've seen them as low as $30 or $40 on eBay. Considering you pay $30 for like the Mega Man tin, this is a good deal. Overall, pretty impressed with Universal Fighting System based on what I've seen on YouTube and now that I've held the game in my hand. But I'm interested to hear where you think this game is going. It looks like it's on the rise to me. I hope you enjoyed this edition of TLDR. I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to be notified the next time I upload a video, make sure you subscribe and click that damn bell so you actually get notified. If you want to support the cause of this channel, it survives based on the amazingly gracious support of my patrons. Link is in the description if you'd like to help out.